No turning back. We have our ancestors with us. We're going to continue to dance with them. Oh. Dreaming them. Calling them. Being them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of that Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They planned their lives according to the heavens. Well versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night skies thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world. Planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always, they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set the fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's a fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs. They still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive and well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Pakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
And so we should
Yo,
all just sit down and
yo.
talk. You know, I kind of
LA
wait. I
natives
kind of wait for
podcast. We are back, guys.
Yo, yo, yo. Lost Aslan once
Feels-
again.
Feels good to be on air with our people.
Absolutely. I look forward to this day, man, and just sharing my opinion and meeting some new artists and sharing my experience.
Off air, there's an interesting topic you guys were talking about was like the road versus wave.
Yeah. We never really got to talk about it, and Jenny should have been on.
I had no idea what that shit was even about, to be honest with you.
Well, back in the day, they gave the ability to have an abortion. Like you can, before you, I guess it was illegal. They would consider it murder, I guess. I'm not very familiar. I'm not too versed on the history of it. But you have to see every angle when it comes to this. And if they're using the media to blow up an issue, right? Like Roe versus Wade, right? The first thing they do is they get some angry woman who says, I have the right to have an abortion. I have a right to what's happening to my body, right? I have a right to decide what happens to my body, whether I want to have this child or not. Now, it was interesting that they went after that because I was like, man, that has been a dead issue for a long time. I think, as a matter of fact, people think that Planned Parenthood is a positive thing, right? Like, ooh, if it wasn't for Planned Parenthood, you know, when Planned Parenthood was designed to keep people of color's population under control, that's why they give you birth pills, or what do they call that?
Birth control.
Birth control. Yes, birth control. Birth control. It's in the fucking name. It's birth control. Oh, give it to the brown people, the black people, and everybody we don't, and the poor whites, especially them, you know, because we want to control your birth. So then it's been like a dead issue. I've never heard of people going, oh, man, in Alabama, they didn't let this lady have an abortion. It just came out of nowhere, right? It came out of nowhere where it's like Roe versus Wade has been overturned.
1973.
Yeah, it's a dead issue, bro. Like that shit was, nobody was complaining about abortions, right? Yet they chose to go after that. Now I have my theory, right? My theory is like, well, if a woman can't have control over her body, can anyone have control over their body?
Right.
Right? So they're pushing an agenda here, and they're pushing it hard and fast. Hard and fast. And if you're not aware of what's happening, right? Like if you're right to refuse any medical intervention for whatever reason, for whatever cause, whether it be whatever's A or whatever's B, and you go, wow, hey, you know what? I'm cool. I don't really need that. I have my own path. I take care of my own self. I have my own way. They're like, nah. And well, but I can refer to Roe versus Wade. Oh, nah, not anymore. Overturned. Right? And everybody thinks it's the right for women to have the right to say whether I have a baby or not. No, it's the right to be autonomous over your own body. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Yep.
And more. And whatever else they think of, right? Whatever else they think of. It's like, they did it very slowly, too. Like, it happened with 9/11, where it's like, boom, all of a sudden, oh, wow, this big event happened, and people died, and yes, it's very tragic, and yes, it wasn't, you know, this and that, but then all of a sudden now it takes you 4 hours to get into an airplane, and they check everything that you have, everything, your shoes, your body, what's on your body. How many terrorist attacks have we had since 9/11?
I would, what, 0?
Right. Right? But yet we still live under a surveillance as if someone's going to come and hurt us. And that's something that we just need to be aware. So now they took the right to be private. Really, the goal of 9/11 was the right to be private, right? I'm going to go on this airplane and take my private things in there and get from point A to point B. Yeah, everything, right? You lost your privacy with 9/11 with, you know, being able to be tapped on by the INS. And, yeah, all that shit, right? And we all just kind of go, look at Obama. Obama's fucking cool, man. Shit, you know, fucking, we needed this after Bush. You know, and it just got tighter and tighter and tighter. And now they're going after your own ability to say, hey, you know what? I have the right to just be myself, and I don't want any medical intervention. And so they're going, fuck you. This is a pharmaceutical gang now. You need it.
So we have a very special guest. We got Legion X coming up shortly, man. He's a dope-ass indigenous hip-hop artist out of San Diego.
Nice.
But I love those topics that you were covering, because that's how, this is the reason why Immortal Technique is so relevant and so important, because he hits it hard with those same topics that you were just mentioning.
Well, I mean, it's because they try to sugarcoat things. And if you're not aware, their job is to be as deceptive as possible. It's not to be as truthful as possible. If it was based on truth, we wouldn't have the mess like the sicknesses, the poverty, the corruption, the arrogance of very rich people doing whatever they feel is prudent to make them richer, or to just to be malicious and mean, or It's just I try not to conceptualize what they do. And when I mean by they, I mean by any organization that is on this planet to exploit it and hurt the people that live on it. It's not a specific they. It's everybody who has that mentality. That's who they is. You know what I mean? It's a devilish mentality. It's not even that, because I even take it even deeper where I go, it's an energy that needs to exist, but it does not need to dominate. It needs to exist, but it does not need to dominate. You know what I mean? Dominance is done by intelligence, by creation. Look at nature. That's dominant because it's so beautiful and diverse, yet it's chaotic at the same time. So,
shout out to everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Kali.
We're going to take a little 10-second break, guys. We're going to take a 10-second break. I want to reset the mixer just to make sure everything's on point. We'll be right back.
You need to take this fucking shot.
And I think we are back, guys. Prodak, go ahead and test your mic real quick.
Yo, there we go.
Here we go, man.
I always like Prodak, man.
Hell yeah.
We do have a very special guest, Prodak Pistolas, in the building.
Los Aztlan, baby. We're right here. Zero of El Vuh in the building.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Let's go ahead and bring in Legion X, y'all.
Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? Blessings.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Wonderful. Other than it's feels like it's like 90 degrees in this room, man. I'm like sweating.
Oh, man. All the best interviews have a little challenge to it, man. So hopefully this will be a nice one.
It's hot, baby. It's hot.
Yo, Legion X, I want to thank you for accepting this invite to our very humble podcast. It's devoted to the indigenous hip-hop community, man. And I recently stumbled upon your brand and your music, and, man, you're fire, bro. And especially performing live, just recently performing with Twisted Insane, man. You killed that stage, bro. So give our audience a little bit of background on what you're about, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm born and raised in San Diego. More specifically, there's a little place in San Diego called La Mesa, and that's really where I'm from. And it's a little small place. Doesn't really get much notoriety unless you guys remember the riots that happened here. I think pre-COVID, when they burned down a couple banks and fucked up the precinct. We're allowed to cuss on here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
okay.
man.
Sweet.
It's an open forum, right, Zero?
Come on.
All right. Sweet, man. Then I'm not going to censor shit.
Oh, why?
Wonderful.
I mean, as long as it's not hateful, directly hateful to somebody or something.
Absolutely.
I try to keep it in, whenever I discuss anything or I discuss things about people I don't agree with, it's not coming from a judgmental thing. It's coming from a common sense perspective, right? Like, if you're fucking up my garden by pouring oil into it, I'm not going to be nice about, like, hey, bro, can you please stop? I'm going to kick that can out of your hand. I'm going to teach you to connect with the earth and don't destroy it. It's a perspective. That's all this is. This is not a judgment. Whoever is coming from that perspective has their own responsibility to defend it or justify it. They sound foolish, but nevertheless, we have many people that do that. So that's where the perspective we come with. So, but I mean, I'm not here to censor anybody. You can say what you need to say.
Wonderful. All right. Feel at home here. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. Right on.
So yeah, I'm a San Diego artist. Recently, thank you once again for allowing me to share the stage with Twisted Insane, man. That's such an experience. The crowd was great, man. The energy was great, man. Twisted Insane was killed the stage, man. I had to come correct for that show, man. So wonderful, man. I'm still on that high from that show, man. Even so, I'm like lacking sleep, man. This week I probably only got like maybe 8 hours of sleep.
Damn.
Well,
but we're here.
That's why I invited you to this podcast, because what I noticed is that you're indigenous and you speak on indigenous issues in your music. Give us a little bit of background on that.
Well, man, I don't know, man. Life is an experience for me. That's where my name comes from, Legion X. You know, I'm gonna give you all a little history on that. For me, I'm a first generation immigrant here. So my mom, she crossed the border through the desert and was lucky enough to be helped by some fairly wealthy people on this side, man, and really helped her put her roots down here for her children, which was me and 4 other brothers. And I'm the middle child. So we had to deal with a lot of those issues coming up, being poor, just scraping by, getting anything we could to get by, man. And we had to learn through all the hardships that come with that type of lifestyle, man. And although it sometimes it really sucked, man, those experiences made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change it for the world, man. That's my name, Legion X. Is I am who I am today because of those experiences, because of all the people that I've come in contact with, man, who have shared their stories, their hardships, the wonderful things that have happened in their life. It's given me hope. And these are all the things that I take in to make who you see before you right now. Is everything that I am is thanks to all those experiences in life that I've been able to walk through, thankfully. And I'm really just blessed to be here and to be able to have an able working body and mind that will continue to go through these experiences in life and continue to help me grow in it and walk the path of life that I feel is much needed in this world, man. Because this world, the way I see it is, it's on fire, man. It's on fire, and that's physically and spiritually. We've lost our way as a race, as the human race. I feel like, man, we've and we're not really to blame, but it's really the people that are in power that are doing this to us. And sometimes we can be so blind to everything that's going on around us, and we've just strayed away from where I feel our hearts and our souls should be, and that's really with love overall. And you can feel that in my music, because I express myself. My music, I use it as a platform to express. Unfortunately, I express a lot of my frustrations and a lot of the things that bother me in this world through my music. So my music sometimes comes off as very aggressive, very metal like. People say, "Oh, your music's hardcore." It's I've had some people come up to me and tell me, "Why do you do such angry music? Why do you sound so hateful?" It's I don't ever say any hateful things in my music, but I mean, I can see how it comes off like that, and my reply to that is, when the world stops throwing shit at me, I will stop throwing shit at the world.
Damn, that's deep,
and it's I'm a mirror. I'm a mirror to my environment. If my environment was, meadows and daisies, then I would pick up an acoustic guitar and start singing kumbayas and let's all love one another. But it's really it's been really hard to try to keep that mentality when when we've been thrown in turmoil and just everything that's going on in the world. I heard you guys talking about Roe versus Wade and all this control, and it's crazy. The world is trying to be controlled by the elites, and I refuse to conform. I'm
Well,
I
you're not
will
the
I
only
will
one, Legion X, right, Zero?
Absolutely not. I mean, the cool thing is that you have a story, right? And you have your own hardships that create a creative person, right?
Yeah.
It'd be, and strong artists come from border towns. These border towns, because you get to see things that are a little bit different from Los Angeles street culture, right? Like the cops versus the bad guys over here.
We don't see border patrol.
Not really, but I have.
Right, Prodak? Have you ever spotted a border
Oh,
patrol?
man,
I used to live in
everybody's scared
Santa
of us.
Ana in Orange County, and I would see them there. And I would see them raid a house that maybe is like a coyotero's house where they bring the people there for a little bit.
Damn.
And you'd see raids of like these green vans, and it's a different experience to see people being just drug out of a house, put in a van, and just taken away. They're not criminals. They're just people who just crossed the border. And they come in like if they're SWAT team. And it was a unique experience. I didn't live in San Diego or anything close to San Diego, but I used to go to Tijuana a lot because my mom decided to live in Santa Ana for a little bit. And I remember seeing some of those experiences, and they kind of fuck your psyche up a little bit.
Man, bro, you live scared for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Especially being like 7 years old, 7, 8 years old, and you're just like playing, and then all of a sudden, boom, like fucking green vans, and
You know what I
ladies
always
crying.
Zero. What I always disagree with, those fucking signs when you're driving off the freeway and the fucking families holding on to each other.
Yeah, and watch out for a family crossing the freeway. I
That's
mean,
real
those.
shit right
I mean,
there.
but that
That's
would like if
street
I'm a
art.
kid and I ask my dad, "Hey, Dad, what's up with that sign? What? Why do they have a family? Oh, it's because people cross that border and we may hit them on the freeway. Hit them on the freeway.
I remember asking my dad that same question. That's a crazy ass.
It's
answer.
just it's an added stress.
Watch out for the
versus
people
what we
behind-
deal with is just police brutality, right? And then now you get. What if it's one of your friends?
Or
What
do
if
you
it's like
see
your
that?
friend's mom?
Do you see that a lot out there in San
Yeah,
Diego?
has that ever happened?
I've never seen that happen growing up, but my pops has told me many stories, because he crossed the Sonora Desert to come over here to San Diego and to come over to play, so he could work, so he could find a better life. And he has made a better life here, and he's won his citizenship, and he's able to cross freely now. But he's told me so many stories, and he's crossed the desert, I don't know, like 13, 14, 15 times. And he's told me times where he's had nothing, and he just wants water. He's felt like he's found dead people in the desert, bones, and it's amazing, like what people will put themselves through, put their lives on the line just to get to make their life a little better. There's no opportunity, and there's little opportunity in Mexico at those times, and man, it's such a grand adventure to have to put yourself through this. And
Risk your life. Risk your life.
yeah, and
It's just living in that town. You're getting like once they cross, they feel like they're in a safe zone. Yet it's really intense. And
Now you got
And,
dodge.
and from what I know, from what I've seen, I don't know. I know the majority of them are white, officers, but a lot of them are raza.
oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we're convinced that we're American and that somehow we have a voice here.
Coconuts.
And I wouldn't even call them that because
There you go.
I'll tell you why. Because they're
controversy
so far. They're so far, like they're drones, man. Especially if they're in a uniform.
They're robots. So
They're
Yeah.
fucking like
Yeah, they're
Terminators.
drones,
They have
for
like,
sure.
They're drones.
like for example, there was a comment. They have like the Debo effect. They the way they present themselves is not like a cop. Like it's intimidation.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because they
Scary.
automatically think that you're dangerous. And it's I don't know. It's just
you seen Scare Straight with
Look,
the kids in jail? They scared.
my
the shit out
take.
of
My
them.
take on anyone. My take on anybody who has a uniform and lives makes a living off of that is that they in the academy, and I'm just thinking, this is a theory. I don't know. I've never been to one, but just by interacting with them, they feel like they're better than us, right? Because they wear different clothes. They have something on their chest that says, I'm better than you. And what makes me finalize that thought? Well, I can take this gun, shoot you, and get away with it. So I am of a higher class than you. And this is the civilian class, right? So Border Patrol are just the same. They're the same as police officers. So then they're going to go in on a grandma, and twist her arm and go hard, right? Because they're better than them. These are trash. These are people who are trying to get in here illegally, right? Just like we're trash in the barrios because we're spraying on a wall. Or we don't have parents to keep us under control, so we're on the street. That's
all
my
intimidation.
take on, yeah, that's just my take on people with uniforms, right? And so it's a very violent profession. That's why most of people who are in law enforcement have either like, what do they call that? Domestic violence. Mm-hmm. It's an insane.
It's a sickness.
It's just a mentality, though. Imagine the convention of thousands of police officers, wherever, a police convention, and you see thousands of them around you. Oh, well, we're a race of people now. On the low. Like, I'm better. I could pull my fucking gun out and shoot you and get away with it.
Yep.
And not get fired.
You get promoted if you kill someone.
That is a higher. That is a higher class. If we break it down now, take the judgment out of it, take the anger out of it, and just look at it. That's a higher class of individual. A different indoctrination, right? One that puts their own life on the front line, right? They're the first to go if anything were to pop off, right? Even in the streets, when we do a big march, who's the first one there? It isn't the military.
Yep.
It's the fucking cops. They're dispensable, like, fuck these trash. But yet they think they're better than us.
And Ubaldi, what happened in Ubaldi? They didn't run inside. They were stopping people, the parents, from running in and saving their kids and shit.
Yeah.
Cops, you know what I mean?
Because they think, fuck you. You don't have,
your life is not valued.
Yeah, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. Sure. Just the way they treat us will tell you. It's kind of like, okay, here's a good example so you could get the perspective, right? Did Nazis like the Jews? How did they treat them? They treated them like shit. Like fuck your kid. Fuck your grandma. Right? Well, what happens in our barrios? I'm not trying to rant about this. This is not the show about this. But I'm just trying to get you into thinking of how people put their minds at, like, whoa, I have a badge, I'm better than you because I could kill you and no one can say anything. Right? The judge of all judges will find a way, the attorney of all attorneys will find a way to justify it. Yeah. And you get suspended with pay.
And that's how magnified San Diego is, dude. So Legion X, you do see Border Patrol running around here and there from
all the time, man. All the time. I've just never witnessed an actual, that whole scenario you were saying where all the vans pull up. Everything.
No, that's like, once you get like 60 miles away from the border, those are like safe houses, right? And from there, family members will come pick them up. I don't know how I know this, but I'm imagining. I'm a little kid, 8 years old, but I could see it was here's where it hit me, Legion X. It hit me when I saw this really old lady crying her ass off. Like, she had to be 65. White hair. Crying her ass off, like scared, terrified. And I was going like, why is this old lady? Why is she? What's going on here? And then you just see them with their zip ties and they're in a line, going in a van, and
collecting checks, getting paid.
I'm talking about like when they raided when I was witness to the raiding of a safe house for people like a coyote or whatever, and when they marched them out, I was just a kid, you saw sirens and shit, and you're just right there all fucking, nosy, and I just couldn't, my mind couldn't understand why this old lady didn't seem dangerous. She didn't seem, and she was bawling and terrified. I couldn't conceptualize that at 8 years old. I didn't understand it. Like, why would you treat somebody that way?
That can be traumatizing.
Yeah. Well, it adds to your art. It adds to your art. I'm not. Before I used to hate. Oh wow, it's damaging me. But now I just go, wow. It's just a perspective that I was able to see.
And I love the fact that in Legion X is first generation. I could relate. I'm first generation. From what I know, from what I heard, my dad or my uncle, they snuck in through the border under a floorboard in a car. I can't even imagine stories
how
like
scared
that.
you would be for those 15 seconds, and
you know how many
That's
people
crazy.
die crossing the border like that?
Yeah, I know.
I have one brother who isn't a citizen here because my mom went back to Mexico after being here for so many years to visit her mom who was sick and dying, and then she had to come back, to finish taking care of us because she left us over here, and her and my brother, who's my older brother, they snuck in, rolled up in rugs, and this is a child at the time. This is like a, I mean, my brother had to be like 3 or 4 years old, rolled up in a rug, waiting in the line at Tijuana to cross, and praying that they don't check the rugs.
Or that he cries because he's tripping that he's in a fucking rug.
Absolutely,
dude. And then we go back to Legion X and we go, hey, Legion X, why is your music so angry? It's like, come on, bro, look at our story.
It's energy, baby.
It's the story, man. Like, the story is going to create something, and that's the beauty of it. And when we start to see things for taking the judgment out of it, right, and seeing, like, the product of something, then you can appreciate it for what it is, right? Everyone has their own sovereign creativity. Everyone has their own sound, and that's what makes you unique. So the aggression part of it is the story. Like, dang, dude, you're first generation, and you have your father's story of crossing the desert 13 times and finding a dead body. And dude, imagine if that happened to you just once.
Yeah, and he told me stories where he found a little cottage and he was able to get in to try to get some water, and he was chased out. This was near Arizona. He was chased out and they were shooting at him and his brother. And he literally thought he was going to die. He said, this is it. I'm going to get shot in the desert and they're just going to leave me out here. And, he managed to survive that one as well. He managed to survive, days and days without water. And he finds a little puddle of water. I will never forget this. He told me he found a puddle of water infested with mosquitoes. And he was so thirsty that he just didn't care. And he just drank from that puddle. And he said it was the most refreshing thing ever with mosquitoes. And I mean, this water had been sitting there for days, and by the graces of God, he did not get sick. He didn't get sick. And that water was just enough to give him that hope to keep going and to make it to his destination one more time.
Damn. What a story, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's,
it's powerful, man.
Damn. What people go through.
Yeah.
So
what our parents went through. And here's the kicker. This used to be your land.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kicker.
Part,
That's a trip.
Right?
That's a trip.
This used to be yours.
Drum roll.
This is your shit. Forever. It wasn't that. Here's where I stress the point. It's not 100 years your shit. It's not 200 years. It's not 300 years. It's not 400 years. It's not 500 years. These are thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
Yet we still have to cross a desert, hoping they don't murder us.
Risk your life, man.
Have no water. I mean,
man.
That's just... So now let's take the judgment out of it and look at for what it is. And your fucking dad was a strong motherfucker. Excuse my language. I mean, but that's a story. Man, he survived a lot. Big ups to that warrior.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Saludos,
Right?
saludos al jefe.
Big
I
ups to
look at
him.
that and yeah, I look at him and I find inspiration in not only
There you
his story, but the many stories that I hear from people who went through the same thing. You know, just to get a piece of that American pie to say, you know, I can make a better living here and provide for my family, you know, as we should have had naturally. You know, these are things that people should have naturally. Opportunities to
Natural
work.
born
If you
right.
want to work, you should have the opportunity to work
Yeah.
and make a better life for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
What about
my
the
take on
story?
that.
The story of all the people that don't make it. The truck that was full of immigrants,
Oh
people
yeah.
that got over there in Texas. That was a whole dude. There was like 40 something people in there, dude. All kinds
Yo.
of, you know.
That was out of control.
That's crazy.
And to think
That's
that
crazy.
each one of those people paid thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Just to cross, yeah, bro.
It's a lot. It's not just a little anymore. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like serious dollars. And each one of them, all 53 of them paid thousands of dollars to die that way.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
And my thing is, are they going? Are their bodies going to be returned to their families? I mean, what's going to happen to their bodies? Are they going to get a burial, or are they just going to be, you know, just John Doe's thrown?
Museum one day. They're just gonna put them in the museum, bro. They're gonna, you know what they do to our people? They just steal all our shit. You know, they're not gonna give the people the bodies. They're gonna just put them in the museum and they're gonna charge at the door
For the story or
yeah. They're gonna try. They're gonna make a documentaries, Netflix.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna get paid.
How to capitalize of it.
Yeah,
you know,
for
capitalize
sure.
of it.
Hollywood's all up on that motherfucker.
Well, you know, that was just one that was televised. They really ran with that story hard. Like every major news network, we're talking Dateline, right? Like 2020, they were all covering it.
Wow.
But what about all those ones that are not covered? You know what I'm saying, Zero?
Yeah. It's just, when you look at multimedia, it's not meant to tell you the story of the entire globe. It just catches little stories that are interesting enough to exploit their agenda or whatever. You know, like for me, this is what I saw, right? By taking the judgment out of that particular scenario and just letting the media do what it's doing, you go, oh wow, 53 people died. Look at how many, look at the story, interview of a aunt or interview of a mom. Oh, look at all this sadness and and then let's cut to commercials. Get your COVID vaccine. Get your Coca-Cola. Get your this. Now let's go back to this intense story that you want to know. You see? It's simple, dude. This is what multimedia does. It's not brain surgery, but we have to be aware by taking the judgment out of it, because right away we judge. We go, look at how racist that is. 53 of my people died. And they're judging like if it shouldn't happen, right? But take the judgment out of it and look at who's exploiting it and seeing what they're exploiting. What's the agenda? It's right there. They're telling you. They have to tell you. It's universal law for everyone to tell you what the fuck they're going to do. It's just, how are you going to digest it? How are you going to react to it? That's why we were talking about Roe versus Wade. In my opinion, it was about autonomy of body. No one has the right to say, this is my body and I choose not to do something. That's what they're trying to push. And by attacking Roe versus Wade, they're saying not even a woman who is pregnant has that right anymore.
They're gonna microchip us,
right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. They're slowly inching towards the microchip where they're gonna be like, you have no say in this. This is how it is. And you know, when you were talking about, you know, this new currency, this electronic currency, that's gonna be it. And you know, all these credit cards with these chips, you know, you don't slide your card anymore. You know, it's a chip. This is all, you know, I believe it's all just the steps to get closer to this. All of these things.
But who has brought up the topic of that? No one said, hey, this is the right of anyone's autonomous body, right? This is more about women having a right to, this is women's issues. This is it's a male and woman's issue. Because what if you have I don't know if this example will work, but I'm going to say it anyways. What if you were just going, hey, I have cancer and I don't want to do shit. I just want to have cancer and pass away.
No.
Can you have the right to do that now?
No, you can't. They're going to be like, no, you can't. You have to take these
pills. We have to keep you
have
alive. We're going to put you on this fucking machine and fucking charge everybody and charge your family for the rest of their fucking life. Like, think about it. This is...
So just one day ago, there's an article saying that President Biden signs a $280 billion microchip bill aiming to boost ailing diseases through the U.S. industry.
Trying to microchip.
So
Bro,
that's what it is.
$280 billion. So apparently they're going to put a chip in you, and it's going to act like a...
hey, Mortal Technique's been talking about it.
Like a diagnostic machine. You know how you could plug it in, plug that computer into your car and see what's wrong with the car?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And
now,
I think $280 billion is right about right?
Now, can you say, well, hey, you know what? I choose to figure out that I had my own cold. I don't need your fucking machine to tell me I have a cold or I'm going to get a cold or I have a cold or whatever the fuck you're trying to do.
Trip out.
It's like you can't have that autonomy no more. Well, let's talk about that. See, here's the beauty about it. Like, I like to point out all the obvious, but I also like to go on the side of the unknown. Right? And the unknown is obviously the great spirit, the great mystery. That's why we called it those things. Right? When you come at someone and you try to clamp on them, the creativity just starts to become more. People will become more creative to challenge the narrative. If we're not educated about it, though, we'll follow the narrative. And that's what they're hoping for. People are so stupid, they're just going to follow the narrative. But they never take into account creativity. That's why they had such a hard time with blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Don't think that they have it all solved. They do not have it solved. They're trying to go, okay, all banks are now digital. Here, everybody's trapped now. But Ethereum is still worth what Ethereum is going to be worth. And Bitcoin will still remain the big dog of cryptocurrency. That's creativity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you guys understand like the concept of what I'm saying?
Yeah. To create, you create that way to forever be rich.
To always have a contrast to something that's going to be, it's just the way creativity works.
Yeah.
It's an infinite pool of like, oh, you're going to do this? Well, it's going to do this. It's motion, right?
Yeah.
It's motion. What I'm trying to say is they cannot say that they're the only and all and only because there is no all and only, right? Unless they convince you that there is. And you believe it. But the truth is there isn't. We are all sovereign. We all have a complex nervous system. We all have trillions of cells inside of us. We are our own universe in itself.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And Legion X, applies all these topics into his music, bro. And that's what's so dope. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about your album or your latest project. Where can people find you? Where do you campaign right now?
Well, I'm just right now, I'm working on singles and I'm working on putting out music videos that really capture the visuals that I want to put out. I finally found a videographer who is able to take what I bring him, and the dude runs with it, and he has just hit it just exactly how I want it. My last music video was The Truth, and that is one of my favorite videos that I've had so much fun making up to date. And the whole concept of it really came after I a lot of my music and my inspiration comes from all my experiences, but what I do with those experiences, I do these my own ceremonial psychedelic trips with psilocybin, and I use this to dig into myself, to peel the layers of the onion and I get to, you know, have these conversations with myself. And I've come to realize that my thoughts are so fragmented because of the traumas that I've been through, because of the, you know, we'll say like the hate that I have against a lot of these factions that are trying to control us. And I'm able to look at them in a different perspective and understand why I am the way that I am through doing this. So
Yo,
this
so
last
so
go
Legion,
ahead.
I wanted to ask you though. Like, I remember when I met you, you're pro psychedelic, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and break that down, brother.
Well, you know, it started probably over 10, maybe 12 years ago. You know, you just somebody brings some mushrooms, and you know, I'm a youngster, man. I don't know. I'm just like kind of a knucklehead, man, doing things here and there. And yeah, let's get fucked up, man. Let's try some shit. And I tried it, and it immediately just awakened me. I was like, whoa, like I don't know what I just experienced, but I experienced some super out of body things, man. And you know, I could sit here and tell you about these experiences, but we'd need more time than an hour for this. But in a nutshell, I you know, I was able to venture in myself, in my own psyche, and I was able to see, I compartmentalize a lot of things in my head, and I, by doing these things, I was able to understand. And the experience was so vivid and real for me that I can never forget it. I mean, I felt like I talked to the one of the universe, whatever you want to call it. If it's, you know, everybody has their own vision of this, whether it's God or, you know, the great spirit, you know, but the energy, you know, whatever. But it's there's a oneness to the world. That's why we're all, you know, I feel like we're, you know, that
And you
everything
know,
here is connected.
yo, Legion, thank you for your for that, man, because we're not here trying to promote psychedelics, you know what I'm saying? But I respect that. I respect that honestly because I took a couple shrooms in my day and I had some fucking trips, though.
Well, I mean, that particular medicine comes from a woman, or the most famous woman known for it was Maria Sabina, right? And so she did the road of
psychedelics been around for years, right?
The Aztecs used to use
not
it.
necessarily. Well, let me just tell you the story of this. Is the trippy part about it, right? Once we started doing the research on this particular individual, are you familiar with her, Legion?
No.
No, Maria Sabina. Okay, well,
Toporina.
Maria Sabina is this Indian woman, who is from Huautla, right? And she popularized these mushrooms, magic mushrooms, right? The first person to make contact with her, you're gonna trip, was a J.P. Morgan Chase, I think, board of directors or something like that. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. After that person, Walt Disney went. Right? These are the people that I know off the top of my dome. After that, John Lennon went. After that, see how many people went to her?
Yeah.
She changed consciousness by giving this medicine to these people.
Mushrooms.
Not because she was going, you're going to get awakened, but she said, here.
Medicine. Chingate estos mushrooms.
Here. Right? And so how much influence she gave it to Jim Morrison, if I'm correct. She gave it to so many people that had influence on pop culture.
These are icons.
Especially Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Especially Walt Disney.
He took the shrooms, man. That's how he created his empire.
Now you start thinking Fantasia. Now you start thinking Dumbo. Now you start thinking the graphics on those movies. Right? So
Alice in Wonderland, like how Indigenous 1492 said that come on now.
Walt Disney.
A rabbit hole.
Walt Disney. And what was it around?
How can you
mushrooms.
How can you create that story sober, bro?
All those colors.
Yeah.
So, I guess, look, everybody has their own road with medicines.
Go watch Alice in
Right?
Wonderland.
Everyone will have their own road with medicines because, to be honest with you, medicines call you. You don't call them. They're that powerful, right? Because they give you something. They give you an insight. They give you a gift. But just like anything in nature, it needs to be reciprocated.
And respected.
And respected.
Absolutely.
And respected. And you don't really like to talk about those. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the way I view medicine is like it shows you the truth. Bam! And then it just takes it away. And it's left, okay, what is your interpretation? Right? How are you going to explain what you just saw? Because everybody sees something different. Right? What is your creativity going to be drawn out from seeing the truth? Because mother will always have something for you to see the truth. It could be as simple as a walk in the desert, a walk into the forest. It could be as simple as taking the sacred medicine. It could be so many things. That's what I'm trying to say. It's so vast. And I feel that people in power are tripping. Literally. We have proof. Fucking Walt Disney went to go see it. And I'm sure a lot of politicians, I'm sure there was a boatload of people.
At those times, what type of shrooms were they? Were they naturally grown? They were out there? Because
they're wild in the mountains
right,
over there.
Because the ones I took, apparently, some motherfucker in college was growing these shrooms in his closet.
Oh, I'm sure it could get commercialized.
I don't know what type of
I'm sure it's commercialized at this
chemicals
point.
were in there, but I had a fucking bad trip, bro.
Well, I mean, look, they're medicine. And it's gonna affect, like I told you, like I said before, it calls you, you don't call it, right? And it's there to teach you a lesson. It's not there for you to exploit.
Yeah.
Although some feel like these individuals did exploit it, but they didn't. They just had to play their role. And that was my point, that she just said, here.
I would love to try one of those naturally grown in the mountains.
Yeah.
Type of shrooms.
Well, you can go. You can go.
Yeah.
You can go. You know, that
They
medicine.
have rituals and everything. You sit there and the shamans come out and give you a whole ceremony
That's
for
dope.
To me, those particular medicines are like they are called psychedelics, but they do treat the mind.
Yep.
Right? Because I've experienced medicine that treats the heart. Right? So these medicines, I believe, you don't take 100 years to figure this out. And our history, it goes back 26,000 years because we have a calendar that proves that 26,000 years of timekeeping.
Our people were getting high off mushrooms, bro, for sure.
Or growing certain varieties, mixing. I don't know. We don't know.
They mapped out the sky, the stars. They have, oh man, we were on some shit.
I hate to look, because I'm not trying to say, hey, go do this. I'm not trying to condone it but I'm also saying that that it's your choice.
Try it.
You know what I mean? But my point is to this. My point, I have to be very careful because I don't know what age group is out there. And for those that are young and their minds are young, continue to follow your heart because that's the only answer anyways. No matter what you take, your heart has the answer.
Absolutely.
It's not about wearing a badge, about how many times and what you did and who gave it to you and where you did it. It has nothing to do with that because, again, I'm going to reiterate that we are our own universe within ourselves.
Yeah.
We have
the brain is a
cells.
powerhouse.
Yeah, it's definitely important. It's definitely something that you need to be gentle with because it's your best friend. Yet sometimes that best friend has influence and it says, you're better than everyone else. And that's what our brothers that are elite think. but it's disintegrating in front of their hands because they don't come from truth. So then what do? They tap into their creativity. And that creativity is, let's lock everybody down with this chip, right? But some other creative thing or some other creative person or some other creative artist will have something to say about that. And forever, the community will debate about it. You can't own the world. They make you think like they own it, but you can't. It's too big. Break that perspective and start living in a universe that is exactly how our ancestors said, a great mystery, the Great Spirit. The Great Spirit. That means there's good and bad there. It's not kumbaya. It's how tough can you be to exist in this Great Spirit?
Survive.
Right? You got to be strong to survive.
Man,
in the
tough.
Great Spirit.
Wow, it's tough. Mentally, all that.
That's my message. We need to be sovereign, aware, and tough. Sovereign, aware, and tough. And we can defeat anything. I believe. That's the way I believe. I believe in us.
Yo, Legion. Awesome
yeah.
interview, brother.
Legion X.
Yeah, bro.
Legion X, man.
Go
Yeah,
follow
man,
Legion.
Make sure you guys follow Legion X. Look them up on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. Make sure you give them that follow. And most importantly, guys, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on our YouTube video page. Like, comment, share the video. Tell a friend, family member. Visit our website, lanativespodcast.com. Buy a t-shirt. Right. Shout out to Manalali Superfoods.
Absolutely.
In the historical city of East Los Angeles, man.
Stay tuned to our page. We're going to have an open mic hopefully next Friday. 4528 Whittier Boulevard, historical Whittier Boulevard, land of the lowriders.
Sweet.
How was the plant-based Aslan?
Awesome. The community is getting solid and solid. I have a plant-based market that we do every month, the first Sunday of the month in Los Angeles on Whittier Boulevard.
Anyone from San Diego that's tuning in, come right out.
There's some people that come from San Diego.
Yeah.
Just to come to the market. It's so cool. I forgot their name. Damn, I got to shout them out next time, though. But yeah, man, everything's going great out there. And we're going to continue to be creative. We're going to continue to be aware. We're going to toughen up and understand that with life comes death. Many people are going to die. And yeah, sometimes people close to us die. And we don't like that feeling. But death in our time was not evil or bad or sad, in my belief. Not if you take the judgment out of it and look at it for what it is, a doorway to your energy releasing, right? You trapped energy, and in your death, you will release that energy. No elite, no white supremacists, no. They could be clever and kill a lot of people, but they cannot rule death. Death rules us. And we knew that because our great civilization died. Cuauhtémoc said, this is it. But 500 years from now, if we planted the seeds and we remembered our great understandings that our great, 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 great grandchildren will remember and walk in our way again. That's death. It doesn't sound bad to me.
The chat is lit. The viewership is lit. I appreciate everyone tuning in.
Absolutely.
Make sure, again, subscribe to the page. Let someone else know to subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers, man. That's our goal. We're almost there, guys. Shout out to everyone on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. A lot of people listen to us on Apple.
Oh, no way.
I'm surprised.
Sweet.
You know?
yeah, shout out to everybody out there, all Lost Aslan, all the Hummingbird Warrior tribe.
And you know, this podcast is for you. We bring a different perspective. You know, recently there's a lot of podcasts out there that are just always gossiping, clout chasing. You don't get that shit here, right, Zero?
Well, we're not CNN. You know, I'm not trying to like fucking make, you know, I'm not trying to talk shit so I could fucking put an ad on my thing. You know, it's like
This is not no jumper.
it's just it's stupid. It just that's drama. That's like you might as well sit down and watch fucking soap operas.
Novelas and shit. Yeah,
soap
yeah,
operas
yeah.
and shit.
Talking
Like,
about
ugh,
shit.
ugh. It's like also that, or you might as well be a fucking sports talk radio talking about the Super Bowl that already ended, about a play that will never happen because this person will never make that decision because it already happened.
Yelling goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Like,
some shit.
oh, they should put Tom Brady in. They fucking took him out of the game, and if they would have put him in there for the last 45 seconds, who would have won the game?
Yeah. All
How the
that
fuck
other
is he
shit.
even still playing, yo? He's a machine.
It's just like that's not what we are. That's what I think No Jumper is, and all this gossip radio. Now, if you have everyone has a right to their voice. Everyone has a right to their opinion, and if you're entertained by that, and if you feel that that's the way that, but you got to make sure that you're not hurting people, and that's why I made it very clear. If you're 15 years old and people are presenting psychedelics to you, please take your time with that medicine. Because Mother Earth is gentle, but she can also be very stern. Hence, Armando's experience.
Absolutely.
So,
and I always tell people, you know,
Time
like
to get a bad batch.
you really don't need these things either, because there's other ways to obtain this type of, you know, experience naturally. You know, meditation. There's so many different ways to reach this level of thinking, perspective. You don't need, I always tell people, you don't need these things, you know.
but
You really
when,
don't.
But when you're a mature individual,
But it's essentially fact, right? People that are on psychedelics create the most amazing shit.
well, I mean, it's not because the psychedelics, because they had a traumatic life. You know what I mean? They had a traumatic life, and they got to these medicines that healed them, and they became creative about their trauma, right? Instead of looking at the trauma as a negative thing.
Jimi Hendrix was high all the time when he was rocking out on his guitar. He looks like he's so live. He's high as fuck. Jimi Hendrix.
But you know, the '60s had a big influence, as you could see. You know, and that's when Maria Sabina was.
Doing her
She was,
thing, baby.
but in the mountain though.
Shout
Like,
out to the mushroom mama.
yeah, they.
So the term,
Look.
so the term was magic mushrooms.
That's what people call it today.
Yeah.
I have to find out the Nahuatl name for it.
But believe it or not, now you know it's legal in California, right? And you can now there's people branding it, slapping logos on it.
Oh,
It's
man.
getting out of control.
Wow.
Burners putting it in pills and selling
Yeah,
it through
pills
cookies.
now. Yeah.
Well, just
there.
be patient with your spirit. Everyone wants to know the great mysteries, and these plants are special. So if you're mature enough, old enough, and ready to kind of challenge your perspective, then I'm not here to tell you to do it or not to do it, but follow your heart. Man, if everyone in this planet followed their heart, we'd have a different planet.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
You know, and sometimes you get pressured into doing things that you're not ready for, and you know, maybe that's a part of your growing process. But like you said, brother, there's no need to go through these experiences, you know, just because, right? Because you don't have the discipline, or you didn't follow your own intuition. You know, follow your intuition. It's always going to be right for you, for you, right? And that's what I do. I just follow my intuition. And my intuition led me to superfoods.
It's a real sense.
Intermittent fasting.
It's a real sense. Your intuitive sense is real.
Yeah,
It's a real-
That's,
you shouldn't
that's
ignore
like the
it.
sixth sense right there.
Yeah, hey.
You know, but you grow up in elementary. Oh, look at pussy, you fucking crying up. You know,
You
it's
fuck
like,
all that shit up. Elementary, fuck your shit up for sure. I was bullied a lot. I'm a big guy. They used to make fun of me running a lot.
it's an
So,
emotional torture
I grew
chamber.
up. I grew up subconsciously like, fuck, am I running cool? Shit, the fuck, just run, fool. Like, do I look cool when I'm running, a big guy? You know what I'm saying? I grew up in high school. It was running time, and I would question myself, ask myself, dude, am I running okay? Does this look like I'm running? So it was just a thing that carried on, you know.
Because you're so fragile at that age, you know.
Yeah,
You're so
yeah.
fragile and you're not developed properly, and who knows what your home is like. So there's a lot of variables to these things. But just, just always follow your heart, man. If you follow your heart, it's going to always tell you what to do. It's just, are you aware enough to listen to it? I'm going to tell you why you should listen to it, though. Because it's a mystery, right? It's a mystery. What makes it pump? It's not connected to anything other than the Great Spirit's energy, right? So it comes from the Great Spirit. That pump inside your heart comes from the Great Spirit, right? So if it's coming from the Great Spirit, why wouldn't you not listen to it? It doesn't talk to you with words, man. It talks with you with intuition, with chills, with truth. Your heart will always talk to you with truth. It'll tell you when you're fucking up. And you got to be disciplined enough to go, not take it personal and say, hey, I just need to fix myself because, yeah, I did fuck up. Because we all fuck up.
But those are the biggest lessons we can learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We all fuck up. We all fuck up. And we fuck up bad sometimes, But you got to get past that. Now, if you keep fucking up, if you become good at fucking up, if you like fucking up, that's different.
You're a special individual at that level.
Yeah, that means you made it.
You're gifted at fucking up.
Yeah. You
got a gift. It's called fucking up.
Yeah.
So, any shout outs, Legion, before we let you go?
Just want to give a shout out to, first off, to y'all, man, what y'all doing with this podcast, man. It's absolutely amazing, man. I've become a fan. Mondo put me onto this, man, and I've been listening to y'all, man, while I work. I have a landscaping company as well that I do, and I'm very, very, very blessed, man, to be able to do what I love for work. I get to work the land. I get to share with clients, man, how to properly maintain your piece of land, without so many fertilizers and pesticides, and I get to do my part. That's the way I do my part, man. And I'm just, shout out to y'all, man, for holding it down with this podcast and giving me something educational and something to grow from while I'm working, doing what I love,
Nice. Yeah.
Shout out to my team, man, that is always supporting me, man, the Mesomind, my boy LZ, man. And really just shout out to anybody who's on here listening. Just it's nothing but love, man. I appreciate everybody and just all the experiences that come along with this, man. Life itself, man. Shout out to life and death.
So next week,
Let's not forget that.
Next week we have Hypnotic, and I want to invite Hedon back on.
Yeah, that'd be dope. He knows them.
Yeah,
he knows them. And that'd be cool. It can help with the
a
conversation.
lot of topics we're going to be covering.
Yeah, we're also thinking about switching up the show a little bit.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Like I like the fact that product was here.
I want people to call in.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
next
love to
week.
be here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, next week we're gonna have a number right on the screen. We can have people call in, ask questions, be a part of the show.
The more interactive we get, I mean, I love the chat, bro, but it's like it fires off sometimes so much, and it's like you can't
keep up. Yeah.
From here to there, I don't have very good eyesight, so having a phone call would be easier to kind of like add that element that we truly, because we only represent whoever's on that chat.
Yep.
Because they agreed and they came and they shared their voice. Shout out to Richie. If Richie's on there.
Richie's with us right now.
Perfect.
Share. Make sure
shout out to
share.
all of you. Shout out to Jag. Shout out to
Indigenous 1492.
Cosmic Force. Shout out to Sub One. Shout out to our family. We're creating a movement.
Share.
A movement.
And share.
Yeah, exactly.
Share,
Product and his music.
Tag us,
Dakota
share,
Bear.
Dakota. We've been in contact with Dakota. So.
Superman.
Yeah, Dakota Bear. That's
Immortal Technique.
Yeah, Technique.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Prodac, for joining us today.
Always,
like
man,
I said,
thank
next
you
week
for having me.
we got Hypnotic, 8 p.m. Be here. Any last words, though?
Yeah, well, thanks again, Legion, for sharing your music and sharing your spirit and your wisdom and your experiences with our community.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Good shit,
No
man.
worries.
Keep
And,
pushing, keep
you
doing
know,
your
to the
thing.
community, thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking the time to voice yourself through the chat. And as we grow as LA natives, we're gonna be as more interactive. We'll have more events. Join Malinali's page so you could be a part of Plant-Based Aslan, Open Mic, and many, many other things that we're doing. Because this is a movement of truth, right? We're gonna confront white supremacy. We're gonna confront narcissistic science that has no real merit. And we're going to be sovereign, aware, and tough indigenous family. We're going to be a tough indigenous family that protects each other.
Hell yeah, let's talk brown issues, man. Let's talk some real brown issues. Yeah. Like real kids in cages and, and laws against our people, not that bullshit they talking about.
Let's open our eyes to see it, because we're not going to stop it, right? We're not going to stop that. We're going to see it and know how to maneuver within it. Because that's what good warriors do. You think they killed all of our medicine men were powerful beings. They just retreated to where you can't see them. But it doesn't mean that they're not working. They gave up their physical to stay within the spiritual, to help us teach people that Mother Earth rules. Period. Right? Period. And we'll learn that in this journey of Las Taslan. We'll see you next Wednesday. Tlasukamatli, Umeteo, Tonantzin.